book I'd like to share with you. It's called What is a Food Drive? This is a book that my friends wrote, that we wrote and illustrated. When you hear the word drive, you might think of a car, but we want to teach you about a different kind of drive. So we're not talking about
Just
driving a car.
Yeah.
This is a different kind of a drive. Have you ever heard of a food drive? Kindergartners, if you've heard of a food drive, can you show me a quiet thumb in your lap like this so I know? This means, yes, I've heard of a food drive. If you haven't, you can keep your hands down. So some of my friends over here have heard of food drives, some of you have not.
I did.
We're going to explain what it is, just in case you've never heard of it. Some people do not have enough money to buy food for their families. Their bellies feel empty. You ever had a rumbling feeling in your belly? Sometimes when you're really, really hungry, your belly kind of grumbles and rumbles. It doesn't feel good, right? But once you eat something, then you feel better, right? It stops rumbling, your belly feels full, and that's a good feeling. If your family didn't have money to buy food, your belly would feel like that a lot. It's not a good feeling.
And your heart would feel bad.
Yeah, it's not healthy for your body. During a food drive, people who have a lot of food, like us, give food or donate some of it to people who need food. So show me a quiet thumb if you have a lot of food in your home. I know when I open my refrigerator, it's full of food. Every shelf there's food. There's fruit, there's milk, there's vegetables, there's meat. And I know when I open my pantry, I have bread, I have crackers, I have so much food. More food than I could even eat in one day. Do you have that at your home?
Yes.
Yeah, we're very lucky. We have a lot of food. So maybe
I have toys in my pantry.
maybe we could try to help some people that don't have a lot of food. That's what my class would like to do. So people donate all kinds of food during food drive. Food pantries, which is a place where you can go to get food if you have no money to buy it. They need canned vegetables. They need canned meat and tuna fish.
A can of soup.
Cans of soup, yes. They need baby food and
Baby
formula because
Baby food.
because what if a baby's family doesn't have any money to buy them food? The babies need food too. Yeah. Cans of soup, like Caitlin said. Pancake mix and syrup.
Ooh.
I have that in my home. I can bring that in.
I'm thirsty.
Boxes of cereal. Kindergarten, can you show me a quiet thumb if you have a box of cereal at your house? I do.
I have tons.
Wow.
I
How about kindergarten? Oh, I wonder, kindergarten, can you show me a quiet hand if you have a quiet hand like this, a quiet thumb like this? If you have food at your home, fruit, a quiet thumb, you can bring in cans of fruit. They need that. They also need pasta and jars of pasta sauce. Show me a quiet thumb. Quiet thumb if you have pasta at your home. Or maybe sauce in a jar.
I have pasta sauce and pasta.
And even peanut butter and jelly they need.
I like peanut butter. I love jelly. I hate jelly.
We, Mrs. Rescigno's class, we are going to have a food drive. But guess what? It's not just going to be my class. It's going to be all of the classes at Turtle Creek. So we're going to have a food drive to collect food for people who are hungry. Would you like to help us? Show me a quiet hand if you'd like to help us. Good. So we're going to tell you how you can help us. You can put your hands down. Good. So you're going to help us double, right? Your double hands. So you can put your hands down. I'm going to show you something special, Jason.
And if you do your feet also,
This is a box that we made. Can any of the kindergartners read what I wrote on it? Raise a quiet hand if you think you can read the words. There are 2 words. I don't see any quiet hands. I'm looking for a quiet hand. Evan, what does that say?
Food drive.
Food drive.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say.
This box, we're going to leave in your classroom. And if you would like to bring in something, some sort of food from your home, for some people that don't have any food, you can bring it into school and you can put it in this box. And then my class is going to come around, we will collect it, we will empty the box, and then we are going to take a trip to a food pantry, which is a place where people who do not have money to buy food can go and get food for free. So they'll go and get the food and eat the food, and then their bellies will be full. Do you have any questions, kindergartners? If you have a question, raise a quiet hand, and my friends are going to help me answer the questions, because we've been learning about food pantries and food drives for a while. Justin, what's your question about our food drive, or food pantry?
How do we get the food?
How do we get the food? Good question. Who in my class thinks they can answer? Caitlin? Can you tell them? How do they get food? How are they going to get the food to donate? Yes, you can get food from your home, like Caitlin said.
Or the grocery store.
Or the grocery store. Maybe the next time you go to Wegmans or Costco, A&P, ShopRite, you can say to your mom or your dad, whoever you're with, you can say, can we get a couple extra things for me to bring into the food drive at school? And I'm sure they'll say, oh yeah, sure. Or you can even open your pantry. You might have extra things in there that you're not going to use that you can bring in.
I have lots of things.
Any other questions? I'm looking for a quiet hand. What's your question?
What if they don't have any money to buy the food?
Good question. Good question. So we are not going, the food that we collect is not, we're not going to bring it to Wegmans where you have to pay for the food. That's where we get our food. I go to Wegmans and I have to give them money or a credit card.
I know how to get money.
But the people that don't have any money, they don't go to Wegmans. They don't go to a grocery store. They go to, who can tell them? Riley, where do they go? Where do they go? To a what? A food pantry. Can anyone else in my class tell them a little bit more about the food pantry? What happens when someone who has no money goes into the food pantry? Can you tell them, Jake? What does the food pantry do?
It brings in, they give you food for free, and they put the blood into bags, and then they give you the food.
Yes, so when you go to the food pantry, if you were a family that had no money, you could go to the food pantry and you could say, do you have any food for my family? And they would say, sure, today we have some soup, and today we have some vegetables, or whatever they have, and they'll put it in a bag for you, and then you can take it home to your family, just like you would if you went food shopping at the food store. Do you have any other questions about the food drive or about the food pantry? Yes?
How do they make the food, though?
How do they make the food? They don't make the food at the food pantry that we're going to. They don't cook the food. But they get all of their food from where? Can you tell us, where do they get their food from?
Donations.
From donations. People like us who have food drives. Many schools have food drives. And a lot of children bring in food, and then all of the food goes to the food. Who can tell them, what's a donation? What does it mean to donate something? Good question. Donate. Does anyone remember? You remember what donate means? Can you tell them? Tell Henry. He's curious.
They get food from there. And they bring it in the truck, so they bring it through the food pantry.
Yes, to donate means to give. So when we are having a food drive, we are asking you and all of your families to donate or to give food to people that don't have a lot. Does that make sense? So I'm going to tell you, kindergartners, if you have more questions, you can talk to your teachers. You can come visit me, and you can ask us more questions later on. You guys have been sitting for a long time, so thank you so much. And we are going to ask our kindergarten friends to please donate. You can bring in cans of fruit or cans of tuna fish. That's going to be your job. Okay? So thank you. Thank you for being a good audience. Thank you.